Hi guys. Good
Hi, good
morning.
morning,
Hi
Good
everyone.
everyone.
morning.
Morning.
Okay. We're gonna
How's your weekend
continue
going?
what we left off last week.
Okay.
We're probably gonna start with review what we have discussed from last week, and then continue. So I'll share my screen, then we're gonna start discussion with so I need to move this away. Okay. Sorry, need to adjust my screen a little bit. Okay, so from our roadmap, right, with the web dev discussion panel, last week we started with talking about function and execution context. So we go back to fundamental of JavaScript to see really see like what's going on under the hood with function and execution context, because for this context it will help us get a deep understanding in working with React. So from that, understand function and execution context will help us understand component life cycle, because now we're going to talk about React component as a functional component. We will skip the class component, so that when we look at React component as a function, then we understand what's going on inside that component execution context. And then we're gonna go a little bit deeper in the term of so how React precedes data between rendering process, because each execution context will create its own variable inside, right? Like so how can we precede that variable? And that will bring us to the next to today discussion, which is we'll talk about closure, where those variable or state, if we look at variable as a state inside the function, that variable will precede with closure concept. So today we're gonna look at introduction on closure, and to understand closure, we'll have to talk a little bit about higher order function. And then as a part of higher order function, there's also concept that called currying and function composition. I'm not gonna probably we won't go to function composition right now, but just to kind of like see what is currying, because this concept it sounds like intimidating, but it's actually not really intimidating if you really understand that. And I don't think we will have time to go to use all of higher order function and closure to apply that understanding to learn React. But that will be our next goal, to when we understand closure and higher order function, then we would apply that concept to understand how to work with use state hooks and use rep hooks, which is really under the hood is that concept from JavaScript. And then now we can go through function and execution context. Anyone who want to kind of like review what you're understanding from what we have last week? Maybe we start from there, or just keep moving, because we might don't have time. Up to you.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe just review a little bit. In my, in my understanding, that last week we talked about how JavaScript work under the hood by virtualize the environment of the JavaScript. We have two parts of that: it's execution context path and the memory and the global memory or the context memory that they use. And then we the JavaScript is like synchronous like how is that say, like process, so it will just lead it line by line, and it's a single thread that is like not gonna go to another line if that line is not finished yet. And yeah, and before that it's just like gonna lead through all of the line and see what the variable, what the variable hold, like placeholder for the memory, they will put it on the memories, and then they will save that into memory first. And then if it say like a function but it's just the declaration, it will just save that as a function, and then it's go through until it hit the invoke function line. That is the time that they create another context execution inside of that context too, and then go through that again, and then return out of that back to the up, the bigger context
The
execution until
outer,
yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, and if you can see that, yeah, you can think of the thing like a stack. Yeah, the first time the global execution open, it will put on the bottom of the stack, the first stack, and then if like another function is open, it will put on the top of that stack. And if that function done, it will pop out of the stack until no more like global execution is open. It will end up that environment.
Okay,
And that's
great.
my but everyone wanna share
Anyone
or
else?
talk about
Sure.
it.
And also the previous last week we talked about understanding more about hoisting. I think it's very important to understand JavaScript better.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Yeah, we talk about hoisting by if you using the if you declare the variable by using var, or or you using the function declarations, how the hoisting is going to work. um yeah, by when the JavaScript at the first time run the file, it's going to looking for the keyword var and function
Mm-hmm.
first. And if it's that have the var and if they find a var and a function, they're going to um assign it to example. They're going to put var equal to undefined at the first time, and for the function they're going
Mm-hmm.
to um I think they're going to um put it to the top, and okay, this is the function
Mm-hmm.
declaration. And
Yeah.
yeah, that is about the
to
hoisting.
to to add on the actually, oh yeah, hoisting part is here. So the part of hoisting is where allocation phase start with it. So that where hoisting start, and then after allocation phase done, then JavaScript will start assignment phase, which is the second phase, where it start to look at other keywords such as cons and let. That will happen on assignment phase. But for allocation phase, it's just only var and function, keyword function.
Yep.
And the allocation phase is
Is
going
that
to start at the beginning.
yep.
Mm-hmm. First
that
phase.
that means that if you use var or it's a function declaration, it will start putting on that variable on the allocation phase. But if you
Yes,
use less than con, it will skip that, and then it
right,
start to
Mm.
read that at the assignment phase.
right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it why we better use let and cons, because it's come up to be it's a block scope. So that is
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
better.
just gonna
Yeah.
talk about the block scope,
Cool. Yeah.
Okay,
but
Please.
go
yeah,
on, go on.
the block scope is for let and const, right?
Yeah, let
Um,
and cons is block scope.
the hoisting will happen just with var, right?
Yes.
Var and function.
Yes, keyword function.
keyword function.
Yes.
Yeah. And then it will put it in the memory,
Mhm.
but they won't look for the allocate phase. They won't like care about cons and let because they are block scope, and you can only use con and let in the scope,
Right.
right? And
var
if
is function scope.
function scope.
Yeah, for var it is
Yeah.
a function
Yeah.
scope.
If you can
Just-
tell me what different between let and cons in your opinion.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did
what
you
is
say?
difference between she
Oh,
says
Yeah.
what is
I just
difference
asking
between
kind of
let
yeah
and
Oh,
cons?
broader question. Yeah.
right. So let's you can change. I mean, you can reassign it, but const it's constant. You can't reassign the value
Right.
in there.
Yeah. Right. That's what I thought too.
I have a little bit to add on to Cassini with about the block scope.
Mhm.
When we're talking about block scope, you can think about the curly bracket, like
Mhm.
the block of the curly bracket that is mean
Mhm.
block scope, and let
Yeah.
and cons is working. Is going to work only in the block scope.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can access only in
In the scope.
from
Just
from
inside
in
out,
that
right?
scope. Yeah.
from
Yeah.
outs. Yeah, so
Inside and out.
inside can reach to outside, but outside
Yeah.
cannot
Cannot.
reach to
Yeah.
inside.
Mhm.
Yeah, of
Cool.
the scope. So I actually also have reinforced of this like 3 slides from understanding last week, and we can see what's going on here to reinforce our understanding. You want to move to slide, or anyone want to talk about last week? Anyone want to add on from that? Or we can start here then.
Yeah, we can start here.
Okay, so okay, the first one here, let's see what you think is the result, what we get after, for this line result here.
5.
Yeah, right.
It's going to be fun.
This is really simple. So
Mhm.
add num, when JavaScript run to this line, it first will assign result as a temporarily as an undefined until we get evaluated result of add num. So now we open add num execution context. So this is the function definition. Num will now we inside add num
Block
execution
scope.
context. It will look first where is num, where is variable num. Is that any num inside add num?
Nope.
No. So that it will look out to outer execution context, which is the global. Now it's in the global, and then if they see num, right? So num is evaluated to 2 to part 5. This is really simple. So now what about here, the second one?
Going to be 10.
7.
The result.
I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
7.
sorry, 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be
Because it had
7.
let num
But define num
equal
in that
4 in
scope.
there. Yeah,
Yes.
The
it
block
just look
scope.
in the scope.
Right. So when it find num inside its own scope, it won't look further out. It will use that, will use that variable. Everyone understand here? That's good. So what's about next one?
In
4.
what is income form?
Mad.
That's the
It's
Doing mad
an
now.
argument
oh, okay. It's a
Going to be
parameter.
4.
parameter,
It's a parameter, and then it's
and
gonna
we
be.
pass argument 1 in
Mhm.
there in
So
add
yeah,
num.
it will be 4
4.
for me.
Okay, good. So what happened here is that when we open execution context, add num, it will process parameter first. First of all, it will process parameter, and parameter, which is n, is parameter, right?
Mhm.
Parameter is like variable inside function, n is variable as a parameter, and then it will assign with value of
1.
argument, which is 1. So now inside add num, it will see n, right? N
Yeah.
is 1, so it's 4. Okay, good. Next one.
Going to be
Will
3.
be not defined
Actually,
because it's will be because you didn't assign it, so it will be undefined, not a number,
undefined.
right?
Correct.
Because the undefined plus the number will be not a number.
Yeah, not a number. Nun right on that. So yeah, so now because we didn't pass anything in here, it's actually undefined, right? So when adnum process parameter n, it will assign to n is assigned to undefined, and then undefined plus 3, it get coercion, JavaScript coercion, where we have a rule of coercion. I don't remember all the rule. You can look at on the table. When undefined plus integer, the result will be nan or undefined nan. Oh no, sorry, it will be not undefined. It will be nan. It's not a number. We'll come back to look at this real quick, but just to keep in mind that
I have a quick.
Oh yeah, sure.
I have a question. I try to run this code on the console, and the result is come out undefined.
Maybe you can. Did you console log the result yet? So you have to basically assign the adnum to the result. Yeah, but I think it should come up with not a number in my understanding, but it might be undefined, but I'm not so sure because actually JavaScript.
You're right. Yes, you're right.
JavaScript.
You're right. It's not a number.
You know, not a number in JavaScript. It's count as a number, right? I think it's type of not a number. Still is a number. For in my understand, I'm not so sure. But that's why it's just type of the number, but it's not a number.
This is where we're gonna come back.
Yeah.
To nan.
Cool.
To discuss about nan later. Let's
that's a good topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the thing that I wanna point out from time to time about those kind of like falsy value, undefined or nan or null, so that we kind of like be able to differentiate what is this falsy value, and later on along the line it will help us debugging if something go wrong, and because sometimes to kind of like spot what are those falsy value is kind of might be confused if we don't understand this kind of object like nan object. So okay. Next one.
It will come at 10.
Okay.
Because this like how to say when you not pass any parameter but you set the parameter as a default value. Assign the default value.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure what the n equals 7 call, but that's kind of
default.
Yeah.
Default value. You
already said that.
Okay.
It's default value, not discount value. Right now we're not trying to do some shopping, anything. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, you're right. So first of all, when adnum execution context open up, it will process variable. So when it doesn't pass anything, it will set n equal to 7, and then we get then 7 plus is 10. Okay, next.
9, I guess.
Because
we pass 6 in there instead of using
because the default value is optional, right? If it's just only when you
didn't pass anything.
Yeah. Right. So that is that. So if first is have n equals 7, when it's processed, parameter is override n with 6. So n now it's become 6, and 6 plus 3 is 9. Okay, good. So let's go real quick just to kind of like get maybe just a scratch surface, so we know what we want to dive deep later, but we're not going to go too deep about this. The thing that the important thing that I want to point out, just because NaN in JavaScript has a very weird behavior that you might think that if you want to use equality operation, and you might expect NaN equal to NaN. It's not, because NaN is actually an object. So object will use location reference, right?
Yep.
So if it's not the same object, it will be false. And then NaN also have a spatial also like property with it, because NaN is actually a part of a number. So when you say number.nan, it's also not true. That's a helper function to check if NaN is NaN, to check that if we want to check like this, when we want to handle error from using integer and someone just forget to pass something, and then you want to have a check guard or error check guard, you might want to see, oh, what is the result coming back, if the result coming back is a NaN or not. So we use this to kind of handle that error. That's just something that to point out for NaN. So anything else anyone want to add on? If not, I'll move to next slides, and then we start with this one. What's console log? If we console log my array, what we'll get here?
Array of 2.
Yeah, array of element 2. This is very simple. It's again, when we open execution context on push me, then first push me will have to push on object array. At first, the last week we didn't really talk about how function look at object first. So at first it will look, where is my array? Is that any object? Because array is an object. So I will say object my array, but it is actually array, object array. It will look, is there any my array in here? If not, it will start to look outside. Is any my object array in here? It found it, so that it pushed into that. So that's why we get array of 2. Okay, now next one.
2.
Array of 5 and 2.
Right.
Element 5 and 2.
Yes.
Because we have 1 in there.
Yeah.
And we push
first.
in the one.
No,
in
but
the scope.
how
Can you see?
Okay, I see it. Okay,
tricky,
so
the const variable,
actually.
can you see outside the box scope, because they declare const my array
yeah,
equal
you
to
can
5.
do it because it's a reference, right? So at the first time, when you invoke the push me, is C2 first, right? And put into the global memory. But then when the function put me come in, is that really set the 2 into the memory? Right?
This is actually tricky. I tricked you guys, sorry. So actually my array, it will see the empty array, my array here. You know why? Because I didn't return any. I didn't return my array out of this function.
Hold on. Oh, I don't get it.
Okay,
again.
when we open up push me, right? Push me has my array in here. And then I say my array push n. So it see my array in here. So it won't look further outside. So it use my array here. So it put 2 to 5, right? So now we have my array inside push me as element of 5 and 2. Yeah. But then I trick you guys because I didn't return anything out here. So if I don't return anything out here, my array
refer to the outer one.
It's the empty.
Refer to the empty array.
Uh-oh.
Just because I didn't return. So now this one.
It's the same.
Right.
Are you trick us again?
Trick.
Yeah.
Okay. So console log my array will see this empty array, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what about
Mhm.
result array? What about result
Result
array?
array will return element 5 and 7 array of 5 and 7.
Trick you again. It's undefined because I didn't return anything, right? Push me. So evaluated result of push me will be undefined. So that result array will be undefined.
Because it
Just
stay the same at the first
Mhm.
state, right?
You didn't return
because
right.
because I didn't return anything out of function push me. So it's just push. So it come to this line, my array dot push n. It's push here. And then
Mhm.
Did not
didn't
return.
return I didn't return anything out of push me.
So
So
is
push
that mean
me will
that
be
that mean like that my array is will stay inside there and it will never get returned to the global.
Mhm.
What does that mean? Is that what it is?
so actually that's two different value here. Console log my array. It will see, oh, where is my array? It see my array in the outer scope.
Mhm.
So it's gonna look at, oh, now my array is still empty because
Because we
this
cannot
push
look
me.
inside.
You never
Yeah.
return it.
Right, it's never pushed out to the outer scope because because that's a variable inside here, so it won't try to mutate the my
Mhm.
array outside scope. It will mutate the my array inside scope.
Yeah, I didn't see that because you
I have a
declare the
it-
cons and cons, right? Because that one, why?
It's
That means
If
you
you
create
move
the new variable in the box scope.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have
Yeah.
the console log inside the function, you will see 5 and 7.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly.
And console log outside the block, the function scope, looking for the global,
Right,
like, and see the cons my array is empty.
exactly. And now this line result array will look at evaluated value of push me function, right? And push me function didn't return anything, is what implicit return undefined for you. So you get undefined here.
Mm.
Okay. And here.
You tricked me again.
Yeah,
Trick
it
you
will
twice.
Now
it
you
will
have
say
to-
error. It will see error because they didn't see my array. They didn't know, they cannot find the my array. They will say like error. We don't
Reference error.
Different-
different error. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I want you to kind of like get mentality of like talk to yourself. At first, this slide, what's gonna happen is we'll look, where is my array? Does it find my array anywhere? Inside? Nope. Outside? Nope. So that reference error, that's what you get. Okay. And now here, last one.
You tricked us again.
Yeah, like we not have time last week. Yeah, we not have time last week to work on object a lot, but yeah.
It's concept of object will use equality as a use. This just to kind of like help you understand that it's refer by reference, not by value. It's different than primitive value. Primitive value is like, right.
So, but that means this
false.
will return false because it's different memory
Right.
location. Yeah.
Oh no. It's okay.
The
See,
same?
object A equal object B. If I do this, it will point to the same
To the same
location.
one.
Oh, okay. Point to the same location.
Point to the same location so that it's the same, right? It point to the same location. And then when I say object B dot name Tom, it will mutate that reference value, which is name will become Tom. So object A will be dot name will be Tom as well, right? Because it's the
I have
same
a question.
location. Okay.
in this case, you're not call reassign, right? You call mutate. I heard
Mutate.
that you say mutate. Okay.
Mutate. We do mutate because we cannot reassign its cons. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cons. We can, so object, if we use cons, we cannot reassign, but we can mutate it.
Okay,
Mhm.
so but why object A not equal object B? Again.
Is equal is true. This is true.
Oh, this is
It's
true.
true.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, it's true. It's true.
Mm,
Because it's point to the same location. Okay, here.
Okay. That's a spread
Same.
operation.
Spread operation.
No, but that but then that means you
Copy.
no the yeah.
It's
So but the
copy.
object B have the object A inside at an object. Is that what it is?
It's spread
It's not
operator.
an
So
array.
it's false.
Yeah. Okay, to explain that, how can we create a new object? That's three way, but I remember just two way. Okay, the first one is to use object literal. It means we use really put bracket. That's object literal. We put bracket in between this property. And then the second one is to use object dot assign. That's to create a new object. And then the last one I forgot. I know that's three where we can create a new object. So what happened here? Const object be equal to literal new object, right? New bracket, and spread out every property inside object A, which means it's copy property from object A, but it's have its own reference location in
so now
memory.
they point in the different location because they create the new one in the different
Right.
Like
location.
you copy another one.
Right, copy property.
So
Every
that means
property
object
inside
object B
A.
not gonna change object B A.
No,
No.
correct.
Okay.
So this will be false. Okay, here.
False too, because it's not the same location.
Yeah, it's false too. Yeah.
Right.
Because it's not yeah.
Right. Right. Even though I assign name property name inside object A with Tom, property A also now become also Tom. For human eyes, it's look the same, but for JavaScript, it's different because it's point to different location in memory.
True.
It's true too.
It's not the same.
It's true because when we evaluate object A dot name, it's referred to
with the value.
string Tom with value.
Mm.
So primitive it will compare with value. So value is a string.
Yeah,
And
string
now,
is primitive type. Yep.
right. So string Tom triple equals string Tom is true. This is why kind of like want to reinforce that this is object. So it will look at reference. This is primitive value. It will compare by value. Okay.
Because I still a little bit unclear about when you're talking about like they're not looking at the same location.
If
Like,
we
can you explain that
You know,
further?
it's just like, you know what I mean, when the object create, right? It's created with the it's like will reserve one memory. It's like, yeah, maybe you just
this is for
Yeah.
example, this is if we look at this one first, right? This one. So inside, this is global, right? Global start with because it's cons. This is cons, so we skip a location phase. So now we do assignment phase. First, inside this execution context, it will cons A object A, right? Object A is assigned to primitive. I'm sorry. This is reference to name Bob, which is object, right? So it's object here. And then we say object B. Now assign to object A, so it point to the same location. This is the way that we talk about point. Is point. It's not assigned.
Yeah.
It's not really like assigned
But
with value or anything.
yeah,
It will.
if you
So-
see that object A is mean the name of the memory, you know, it's the name of that memory location. We just
Yeah,
like name it to make it like the human eye, but
right.
in there it's just like a random number of the memory number.
Patch number or something. I'm
Yeah.
not sure about that deep, but yeah, it just point to this location of object. A will point to this object, and then B, because B is what is assigned to A, so it's just point to the same object. And then when we mutate that object B, right, it will add. It's also
Mutate object
refer
A.
to object A. So different than if we look at this one. So now we have execution context. First, it will say, okay, object A. It point to this object. It's point to this object, right? And then now we have variable object B. It have its own bracket. So it's create with the new location, so it point to different bracket. But it copy all the property from Bob. So now look at here. What is Bob here? Instead of string Bob, what is name is an object. Suppose name is an object. What's gonna happen? So which means inside here we have name, right? Name as an object here, which is have its own location in memory as well. It's primitive. So that it's not primitive. So object B, because it's copy object A property. So inside name, it will point to here. add more kind of like complex. So object B have its own location. Object A have its own location. But because property of B now is also object, so name inside of object A will point to, we use everything that is composite like object. It will have a pointer. So because object B copy name property, it will point to the same location of name object. How to not to do that? Not if I want to everything scratch, like I don't want object B name to point to the same object name of object in object B, because this is go back to like spread operation. So spread operator, it will do what it called shallow copy. It will only copy not the nested inside. So how we do that? So how we make this become everything copy? We have to then do this spread A, and then we have to also spread inside A name and spread. Sorry, we'll create this clear. So we have to do this. Annotate. So we have to say object be equal to actually I might have to go back on that. I don't. Oh, name. Oh, spread name. Object A dot name. We'll go back on this, like, but just to point out for you to be aware of, this is just shallow copy. Anything inside that still is an object, it will be the same reference.
Mm-hmm.
Just for now, and then we'll come back on this later.
But yeah, so the topic will be how we change that pointer to point somewhere else.
Right.
Okay.
Because that we will use that a lot in React if we want React to return a new object instead of copy object. That's kind of like something else along the line. But right now, just to be aware of, this is just shallow copy. Okay. And then last ones from last week, we talked about implicit and explicit, right? The word of implicit and explicit we might come across a lot in the term of in programming term, because this is example of TypeScript giving you an error. What happened here is that because we have title line 6 that didn't really annotate any type in it. So it give us warning that element title implicitly have any type. So this title line 6 TypeScript will like, I don't know what to give. So now it's any type because you didn't annotate anything. So that's kind of like different between implicit and explicit. Just to reinforce the word implicit, explicit again. And we can do that by put title and then annotate with the with interface header props, because it's missing, it's asking for also like what's type I need to use here. So we can solve that warning by giving that type annotate to head props. But it just want to point out the word implicit, explicit if you see that, what that means. Okay, now we was left off here. I won't go back again here, but then we're gonna talk about what
Hold on, let me stop
oh, sure.
here and then restart again.